Tasha ended up taking the fall for Ghost's murder after Tariq shot him in season 6 of Power, but what will Tasha's role be in the first season of book 2? And will she cope with prison life? Will she manage to escape? I'm breaking down Tasha's character for the first season of Power Book 2 Ghost and my predictions for her. Welcome back to MovieBot and let's talk Tasha. First of all guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome to MovieBot, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be the go-to for anything Power Universe related, from reviews, breakdowns and opinions, so make sure you're subscribed. And this is basically episode 4 of the character breakdown series that I'm running, and the playlist is down in the comment section for Method Man's character, Mary J Blige's character and Tariq's character. I was supposed to release this video on the weekend, but then Ghost Starz released a video on Monet, the little teaser that we saw on Instagram, and I couldn't just ignore that. I had to give my opinions on what we saw, so a link to that is in the description and the comment section down below as well. But let's talk Tasha now. How did she end up in prison first of all? Just a quick recap. So she ended up in prison after taking the fall for Ghost's death. After Tariq shot Ghost, she and Tariq were brought in for questioning and they tried to frame Dre, but when she finds out Dre is dead, she tries to frame her new man, which is Quentin. I think they called him Q, but then that ultimately backfired on her, and because he had an alibi when he went to go buy a Red Bull at the same time the murder took place, and eventually Tasha was arrested for the crime of the murder that she didn't even commit. And that's basically where we stand as a character for Tasha. She's going to be in prison when we start book 2, and I don't think they're going to keep her in prison for the full season of Power Book 2 Ghost, and my opinion is they will manage to find a way to release Tasha from prison, and I'm going to touch on that later on in the video. But first of all, before I talk about that, I want to talk about Tasha as a character herself. I mean, I describe her character as cold and ruthless, a woman who loves sleeping around, and I don't think that will change in book 2 either. One thing Tasha is, she's very loyal, and despite everything that Ghost had done to her, cheated on her, treated her like shit, she never gave up Ghost. And it's partly because she'd end up implicating herself and she'd be left without nothing, but she's very loyal to those who are close to her, unless you get on the wrong side of her, of course. And it was Lakeisha who ended up on the wrong side of her. I mean, her cold and ruthless nature came in because Lakeisha was her best mate. She dispatched over like it was nothing to protect Tommy and Tariq, mainly Tariq, and even Ghost wouldn't have done this because Ghost even asks her how does she feel about separating her kid from her mother. But Tasha herself, she's a real tough cookie who can hold her own. So when it comes to it in prison, I think we will see two sides to her. When she's alone, she'll find it tough and hard to deal with being in prison, and that's when I think we will see scenes of her tearing up and breaking down, and that's when she'll find it hard to deal with the things that she's done and when she's behind those 4 walls in an orange jumpsuit. But when it comes out to being out in the courtyard with the others, she's not gonna crack. She's gonna make some enemies and she's gonna be in for a real tough time, but her character is really solid. And for those of you that don't know or don't remember, it was actually Tasha who wanted to kill Kanan so Ghost could become the biggest drug dealer in the city, but it was Ghost who insisted on hatching the plan to put him in jail instead. And this is the thing, sometimes Ghost made stupid mistakes because if they dispatched off Kanan like Tasha said, they would have saved so much trouble in the future that they found themselves in later. And that's what Tasha does, she eliminates her threats. Right now, Tasha is probably, I would say, is not a likable character, but you can't deny that she is smart. She dispatches of people when they need to be dispatched, and that's the bottom line. The only one that didn't work was maybe setting up Quentin because he had an alibi. But with Tasha, a few of you guys have said in the comments that she's going to be playing a secondary role to Tariq, and I agree with you. Tasha won't be as heavily in the storyline in this first season, but she is in all 10 episodes of Power Book 2 first season, so we will be seeing her a lot and in every single episode. And Tasha, she loves getting her knickers off. We saw this with Shawn, Ghost Lawyer, Terry Silver and Quentin, and that's something that ain't gonna change either. And ironically, Tasha's actions of sleeping with Terry Silver are no different to Ghost's in the first season, as she sleeps with a person who goes against crime and makes plans to go legal while hiding her criminal past, just like Ghost tried to do with Angela. And Tasha's character can also be very persuasive and manipulative. Tasha asked Terry Silver to lie for her in court, and when he refused, she ends up getting her knickers off for him again. And I don't think this will change in book 2 either. She can be very persuasive and manipulative when she wants to, and she knows how to get shit done. When there's so much on the line, she's willing to do anything, especially when it comes to protecting her kids. And here's some predictions with Tasha's character. Even though I think she'll be playing a secondary role to Tariq, she'll be getting a lot of airtime. As I said before, she will be in all 10 episodes of the first season of book 2, and it's going to be mainly on Tariq doing all he can to get her out of prison. I think we will definitely see her struggling in prison, and there's going to be some real tough fight scenes, and she's going to have to protect herself. But the thing is, I've touched on it in the video where I talk about Tasha versus Monet. I'll leave a link to it in the description and in the comment section. I think we'll see this eventually. I think Tasha, as well as making enemies, I think she's going to be making a few friends within those prison walls, and she might even find herself with a crew after all to take on Mary J Blige later on in book 2. because we have to see those two characters clash. And the new teaser that we got for Monet, I mean, she opens this envelope and she looks flustered, she looks shocked, she looks like she's realized something, and I'm thinking whether she's got a connection to the St. Patricks or even Tasha directly. And I definitely do think that those two characters will come face to face and come to blows. I don't think they'll be working together because both of their characters just look and seem as if they want to both be the queen pins. And you think Tasha would take orders from Mary J Blige, or Mary J Blige takes orders from Tasha? I just simply can't see it happening. I mean, a character like Tasha, whose husband was Ghost, the biggest goddamn drug dealer in New York City, would she be working under Mary J Blige? I don't think so. Those two have very similar personality traits and there can only be one queen pin. And Courtney Kemp has already spoken about how this would be a female orientated drug game in the first season of book 2. At least so if Tasha can find a crew and find a way of taking on Blige, then it's going to be an epic battle. So let me know what you think about Tasha. Will she be the same manipulative, cold, ruthless character that we saw in Power, or will she crack under pressure inside those 4 walls in a prison? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be bringing you the most up-to-date reviews and breakdowns of the Power universe, and it's starting on the 6th of September, so make sure you're subscribed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.